Welcome and thanks for joining me. This is Creating with Samaj. If you're here for the first time, hi there. And if you're here again, welcome back. So this is Creating with Samaj, and what I do is I like to spend 20 minutes just being creative with you, finding out how do we tap into that side of us that allows us to let go, relax, and have an opportunity to have something in the end. And so through the course of the month of November, I am taking you through a creative process and just letting go. And we're not worrying about what we're making. We're just sitting down with our creative tools and we are doing something. So yesterday we created this beautiful picture here, and afterwards I went back and added these two mountains because I just thought a little bit more was needed. So these are oil pastels that I am working with, sharing with you. And I didn't share yesterday, but Sennelier is the company that originated the oil pastel in the 1940s. And oil pastels were an ingenious way to combine oil paints and chalk pastels into a crayon that is bound with linseed and wax, and it creates this beautiful, luxurious sort of feel that's different than a crayon, and it can be used on many surfaces. It can be used on canvas, paper, wood, and even some glass. I've seen people use it and then melt it onto the glass, and it just creates some really beautiful scenes, sort of like a staccato, I believe it's called, when you do all the painting on the glass and then you put the gesso down and then you reverse imprint it. I believe that's a staccato print. And we might do that. You know, I saw an interesting article recently with a gentleman named Harold Guard, who is the creator of that technique. So we might do that down the road. But today I wanted to get back to playing with these oil pastels. It's probably enough talking, and we should probably get into just doing some art. So today, you know, I always go to the landscape because landscapes make me happy. They bring joy because they're easy and I don't really think about it. And this whole idea of what we're doing is a creative process. We're not really thinking, we're just kind of feeling and picking a color and going with it and seeing what emerges from this and what we get in the end. So one of the beautiful things about oil pastels is in them you are allowed to layer your colors. So you know how the kids today have those blocks of paper that are dark black, and then they go and they scratch on the surface of it and they reveal all the rainbow colors underneath? Well, that is essentially what this is. And so when kids are doing that technique, that is a technique that we apply and use in oil pastels. And when you scratch off and reveal something that's underneath, that is called sgraffito. So sgraffito is also, I believe, used in pottery, and it's when you texture the pottery. And sgraffito does that in both pastel work and also in pottery. It may also apply to other mediums as well. Maybe that's just a term for scratching into or removing. But yeah. So the reason I put down that orange and everyone went, "Oh, you ruined it," is because I wanted to see what would happen. So this is in part a process of just seeing and playing and not being worried about the end result. Because remember, we're not creating a masterpiece forever. We're just creating a masterpiece for now. So I want to go in, and I like to try to stick to a limited palette in colors because I think a limited palette, like I said yesterday, is easier for your brain to be able to hold on to, right? There's not too much going on. So I am going to figure out what colors I'm using. So these are the colors that I'm going to stick to, I think, today. This is our palette. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. I don't have any sunlight coming in, but you know, we'll figure out what that's going to be and what this end result is going to be. So I usually like to spend about 20 minutes with you, just creating and doing something fun, and just realizing that we are all creatives, and we were all put here to make things. And whatever that medium is for you and however it shows up is beautiful. And I encourage you to embrace it or find it if you haven't found it already. It could be cooking, it could be gardening, it might be woodworking, it might be plumbing, it might be doing electrical work or roofing or carpentry or construction. It could be accounting, it could be medicine, it could be a lot of different things. But whatever it is, I hope you find the thing that sparks you and makes you excited about being here and being part of this experience, because being creatives is who we are. We are created in the likeness of, and also have the ability to be creators ourselves. Just think of what you can do when you get a few tools together in the kitchen. You get some eggs, you get some milk, you get some heat, you get a frying pan, and a little butter, and before you know it, you could have scrambled eggs, or an omelet, or sunny side up, or over easy. You could have so many options presented to you just with simple things. So you could just then be a creator of a delicious something for you or your family, or to share with your pet, whatever you want to do. And that's an important thing to remember, is that we are all creators, and we need to tap into that energy, because part of that creative process allows us to let go, and it allows us to kind of recharge and get to a place where we can have maybe a little respite from all the noise that's on the outside, because there's a lot of noise all around us, and there's a lot of noise inside of us, and we need to make sure that we quiet that noise by doing things that take us away. You know, when you do art, your art is not supposed to look like anyone else's. It is supposed to look like your art. And your art is a reflection of everything that's inside of you. And it doesn't matter what the end result is. What matters is the process of doing it. Because so many times, art is a nonverbal communication. It's a really brilliant and amazing way to say things that cannot be said with words, and you can do with pictures or feelings that are emoted through the pictures, right? You can just say so much more with art, and different people can look at the same piece of art and get a different message, because that's what art does. It speaks to people. Uh-oh, here we go. We're falling apart here. This is real, no editing out of any accidents. Okay. Real, oh, there you go, real time, just so you can see what I am dealing with. All right, so let me just put that down differently there. I'm sure we're still all in frame. I'm not going to worry if we're slightly out of frame. Well, I am not going to go back and start. So anyway, I think it's just really important that you lean into that artistic side of yourself, and you find that part of you that might need to have some representation, because words don't always emote what we're feeling. And sometimes pictures do so much more, or just getting that energy out. You know, color has so much energy attached to it. And so sometimes you just need to get that energy that you're feeling on the inside out. Because when you do, it allows you just to have a little more comfort and ease within you, because you're not holding on to that any longer. It's part of the process of just learning to let go. And I know that's really hard because, you know, letting go sounds like you don't care or it doesn't matter, but that isn't true. What it means is that you don't have the attachment to it. You care, you love, you're concerned, you're still involved, though you have to realize that it isn't your journey. And so the attachment that you might have to it, you have to let go of that. And when you let go of the attachment, just things become easier. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really a beautiful thing. It's what they teach you in many different world religions, is that the attachment is what keeps you bound to the difficulty, right? So finding a place within yourself where you can come and do some art and be creative and have time to just be and enjoy the process of creating, right? Having that chance to just do and have fun and not really be worried about the end result or how it turns out, but just being present in the process of just doing, right? Minutes isn't a long time, and even 5 minutes, if 5 minutes is all that you have, 5 minutes of finding a place to find a moment to be creative would be a benefit, I'm sure. If you have kids or a family, maybe you can join in and get everybody just doing something together. And creativity shows up in a lot of different ways. It can be the way you organize, it can be the way you clean, it can be a process, because that's what creativity is. It's a process of being present and just letting things show up and reveal themselves in ways that make you happy, and also in ways that excite you. We almost lost the whole camera action. Sorry about that. Never a dull moment, that's for certain. You know, there's a point when you create that you feel that, whoops, I did something and I lost it, and boy, I should not have done that, or whatever that feeling might be. But that's not always really the case. Sometimes it's part of the process to see and work through that ugly part to get to the other side where there's that joy and that excitement and that unexpectedness, right? It's when that unexpectedness shows up, that's sort of where that magic sits and lies and exists. So I encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to please find some time to be creative. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever you have. Maybe just spend a little bit of time with you, put on your favorite music or not. Be outside or inside. Whatever sort of thing might bring you some happiness. You might want to just find a moment to enjoy that for yourself. And to see how you feel after you create. Because if you spend the entire 30 days with me, at the end of the month, we're going to have some really awesome things to see and to reflect back on. Just to notice all that can be done if you just invest 20 minutes. 20 minutes of having some time being creative and seeing what happens when you just play and have fun. And I think that is where we're going to leave this today. So thank you for taking the time to spend some time with me today. I hope you find your creative energy and your creative self through the process sometime today. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Remember to like and subscribe. Hitting that like button really helps the algorithm and allows someone else who might need to see this to pick it up. Your participation is so appreciated. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Hit that subscribe button. Until then,